Hey guys, this is my first live stream from this channel and my first live stream ever. I'm not really too technologically advanced at all, but I figured I'd show you guys some things. It's taking me a while to pop out the videos because I'm just doing some renovations, and usually the place that I do the videos is in an Airbnb, and it's been rented out a lot lately. And then my area that I'm going to do the videos in the future in my upstairs suite, it's not quite done yet. So it's just been taking a little while longer than usual. Not than usual. I'm not like super into home renovations, so I'm just kind of learning things as we go. And yeah, yesterday I got an electric drywall sander, so that was pretty fun to use. It was a lot better than using the manual way of doing the roof and getting the drywall dust all over you. So that was pretty cool. So anyways, this video is really going to be just about showing you some of the different beginner tools you can use when filmmaking. My history in filmmaking is not huge or anything, but I have made money off it, which is cool, and it helps fund any travels that I go on. I'll also talk about that, just different ways that you can monetize your filmmaking abilities. And yeah, and so anyways, I'm going to start. There's like a live chat thing there that I see. So if you do have any questions, then just make sure you type something there and I'll try my best to answer it. Yeah. So anyways, one of the questions that I had was, can you use a GoPro with the Osmo Mobile 3? And yes, you can. So this is the GoPro hooked up. And now, so let's show you it here. So this is a little adapter that you set up. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown on this. So first thing that I want to mention is that I have these little weights here attached. So this is handy. I'll put the links to everything that I mentioned in the video below. So these little weights will help you stabilize your phone, or if you have something like that that has a bigger camera on the end. So I was having trouble where I couldn't actually get it to stabilize on here. So then I got these weights, and then this will also fix some of the issues that you may be having with bigger phones and stabilizing. So it just has a screw area here, and you can screw it on like so. So there we go. So that's a little weight, and that's a little trick to better stabilize your phone or your Osmo or your GoPro. So now this GoPro attachment, I haven't seen any that are actually made for the Osmo Mobile 3 yet. This one is for the number 2. And it is rather loose when it fits in here. And I have noticed that with this new phone grip sort of thing, I've got it on completely wrong there. So yeah, with this grip, it does kind of move back and forth. So my trick to fixing that was actually to just throw some duct tape around here, and it just makes it a little bit bigger, and it can go on like so. And then what you're going to see here is that there's just some screws here. So you just unscrew that, put your GoPro on, and there you have a stabilized GoPro. Now, some of the newer ones are pretty, they have some good internal features already with it, with the GoPros. But this is a Hero 5. And I found that when I had it hooked up to the gimbal, to the Osmo Mobile 3, it performed a lot better. So now, why would I technically be using a GoPro with the Osmo Mobile 3 when we have just great cameras with our phones these days? Is that I've got the iPhone 10. Some of the newer phones do have wide-angle lenses, and so I like wide-angle lenses for a lot of my shots. It just kind of gives it a more cinema sort of look to it, and looks a little sharper. So that's why I like that. Now, this is made for the Osmo Mobile 2, which is right here, but it sucks on the Osmo Mobile 2 because what happens is if you stick it here, then and you go on wide angle shot, then you're going to get the back of this right here. So that ends up being in all your frames, and that's no good, obviously. So it works good for the Osmo Mobile 3, not so much with the one that it was actually intended for. So you do have to adapt this with the duct tape and get the weights. In total, I think this adapter was about $10. This is Canadian dollars, so American dollars are a little cheaper. And these weights were about $12. So that's what we have for that. And oh yeah, and then back to the cameras anyways. So you can also do 120 frames per second, 240 frames per second if you want the just basic 720. There's two people that are watching it apparently. Oh, there was two people, so now, yeah, you're probably the only one watching. If you have any questions, then let me know. I'm just kind of running through, yeah, I'm just kind of running through some questions that I got asked. I think this video will go on my actual channel later, so then people can watch it down the line as well. Yeah, but thanks for watching. Do you have any questions at all? Yeah, so then what I'm gonna mention is that the iPhone 11, it's probably really good for it. I've seen some good footage with the Osmo Mobile 3, and it would actually make it so you can kind of avoid getting an actual DSLR if you're not going to be like too professional, if you're just doing mainly YouTube videos and such. So what that has on it is it has a telephoto lens as well as a wide angle, and yeah, so then those are good for just some extra extra depth to your videos, I suppose. So originally when I got into filmmaking, I got this SL2, this Canon SL2, and it was kind of because I just started seeing Peter McKinnon videos, and I always saw him with this and then and the Joby, and I had no idea about stabilizing at all, and so I ended up going on a trip to Iceland. We had a lot of smoke in Vancouver, and so I was doing some videos in Vancouver, and it wasn't turning out good, and I just assumed it was because of all the smoke. And so then I went to Iceland, and I was like, "Oh, this is beautiful, this is amazing and stuff." So I brought my Joby and the camera, and nothing turned out stabilized. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that was a mess. I just spent like $600 on this lens, and then $600 on the camera." And then, like, the Jobies are pretty crazy too, at $100 for this little flimsy thing that could barely even hold up my camera. So then, yeah, then my girlfriend was taking videos with the Osmo Mobile too, and all her videos turned out so much better. Like, I couldn't even fix mine in post-production in Premiere, because Premiere does have a cool thing called warp stabilizer, and then that's something that will make your footage even smoother. So even if you use a gimbal, sometimes it might still have some shakes to it. If you edit it in Premiere, you can use yeah, warp stabilizer, and then that's an effect on it that you just drag onto that clip, and it will stabilize your footage even better. So anyways, I tried using that on this handheld footage. Didn't turn out so good, and yeah, so there's 3 people watching now, so you're not the only one anymore. So if any of you guys have questions, then make sure you put it in the comments. So anyways, yeah, so I found that the Osmo turned out with better footage than this camera, which was a shame because the Osmo was like $100, and this thing ended up being $1,300 plus that. And yeah, then I took a filmmaking course. So I did Parker Welbeck's Full-Time Filmmaker, and and yeah, and it was a really good course. So first I did his webinar, and I put a link down in the description below. So his webinar goes through some different ways on filming. So he uses a oh, what does he use? He doesn't use a electronic stabilizer at all in his video that he shows you, but you can use the same sort of movements that he has, and he shows you like the ninja walk that he does and stuff. And yeah, that one's like a free webinar, and you could just get by and learn some stuff off of that webinar. So yeah, he's got like 10 movements that he uses, and so I watched that webinar. Eventually I found some discounts, got it for a little bit cheaper, and then took the course. And then I took my next trip about a month later to Australia, and then that footage came out a lot better. So with that one, I actually ended up I went pretty hardcore because I already had the DSLR camera, and I was like, well, it's kind of a shame to not use this. So I ended up getting a more hardcore stabilizer, which I'll show you that one. So that's this one. This is the Ronin Net, yeah, the Ronin S. So I got this one. This one hooks up to your DSLR camera, goes on top. And then when I did this, so I brought this to Australia with the DSLR. We also had GoPro and the Osmo Mobile and stuff. So we went to Australia, and I went on a little trip, a 4x4 trip to a place called Fraser Island, and you have to rent a 4x4 to go there. So I ended up doing a video for the company that I rented the 4x4 off of. Like, they didn't know or anything. I just did it while I was there, and then got back home, edited it, and it turned out pretty good. So then I emailed them, and I was like, "Hey, I did this video. Let me know what you think about it." So then they liked it, and then they became my client, my first client when it came to filmmaking, and that was yeah, about a month after I did that full-time filmmaker course and got the stabilizer and all this stuff. And then from there, I got to show some different Airbnbs, some of my work, and resorts and stuff. So then they put me up at their places for free. I got to stay at like a 5-star resort sort of thing, and they just had me do a video of their property, and that was pretty cool. So I got to stay there for free, got a little bit of money out of it too. And then I got to work on their website as well, because originally I'm a web developer. I've been coding for the last 10 years. So yeah, this was just kind of like an addition. This was kind of just something for fun because I like the filmmaking. It's kind of cool being able to just like look at nature a little bit more and not just like walk past. I've done a lot of traveling in my days, and usually you just like quickly walk to something and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. There's the Coliseum, awesome. Let's keep it moving. And yeah, that's how it was. But then after I got all this film stuff, I started paying more attention to every little detail. So that kind of made traveling a little bit more fun, and you can keep all the footage that you have instead of just having a few pictures here and there. You can have some good videos, a little bit better memories. So yeah, that's kind of my intro into filmmaking with what I experienced. And so I also did buy a drone. I thought that drones would be super easy to fly, but they weren't, and it's hard to find places to fly drones. So we found that it was like hard to even get in 20 minutes every week, and you kind of had to be a little bit nervous because people seem to have a bit of an issue with drones, and you do have to get your license and all that stuff now. So now it's become even harder to get. But one of my suggestions for a drone, if you're going to be doing any droning at all, is to actually start off with this thing called, I don't know if they still have it. I think they might have better ones now, but this is a DJI Tello. And so it's just a little baby drone, and it's got a remote like this, and you clip your phone into it. So this is a little setup. I think it was like $120 or so. But what this does is that then you can fly this thing around your house, and it's kind of fun, like forever. Like, it's always fun flying this around the house, and it's good for kids too if you have any kids. So then from there, you actually get pretty good at flying a normal drone when you're outside. So this does have like a crappy camera on it, a 720p camera. The other one I have is the Mavic Air, and that one's a 4K camera, so it's better, of course. But this one got it so I was actually pretty good at flying drones, because when you can go through things, like go through the legs of the drum set or go through doors and different rooms and try to scare people and all that stuff. You can't really scare people because it's pretty loud. There's no sneaking up on people with that thing. So yeah, that helped with the flying drones. So that's definitely something I recommend. If you're gonna buy a drone, I'd say get the Tello first and then play around with it as well. I also started playing like, I wasn't much of a gamer at all before that. So maybe if you're a gamer, it's a little bit easier to fly drones. But I started playing Fortnite, and I found that, no, so I've also got the Mavic Air as well. So I've got the Tello, I've got the Mavic Air, and then that's it. The Mavic Air is bigger. I can grab that too. It might be 2 seconds. Okay, I'll grab that too. Just give me 2 seconds. All right, cool. So that's awesome that you have one too. So here is the Mavic Air. And I like this one a lot. I don't really fly it too much anymore because the restrictions are pretty big. But so it folds up, folds out, and folds up. And this was really good for traveling. So it's pretty easy to stick this in your backpack. And I'm not too sure how it is now with flying with it. Like, it was about 1.5 years ago the last time I actually went on a flight. I've been in the middle of home reno, so I haven't gotten to travel as much as I usually do. And they were completely fine everywhere. I like did a stop in China and then Australia. And China, like they loved it. They're asking me about all my camera equipment, and they were super nice. And then Australia, they just didn't really mention anything. So yeah, that's what this was. So this is a drone that I had originally, and the first few times that I flew it, I kept like running into things, and so that was pretty crappy because it's a pricey drone. Um, so then that's where the tello really came in handy. Is that then I got to get a little bit better, and then each time I took it out, it was pretty easy. Also, Fortnite made it easier too to fly the drone. So yeah, another thing too, I guess. Again, I don't fly it too often anymore. But one thing that you do want to do is you want to get some like of these lens filters when you get it. So I've got polarized and ND filters and different stuff. So that will make your footage turn out better on drones if you are planning on droning and you have had any issues with flying the drone. Yeah, so that's really the intro into the equipment that I have for filmmaking. So tips are, I guess, use slow motion footage if you can. If you've got a camera that has wide angle, yeah. So Mavic Air filters, that's what they were. So they actually, quickly show you. So right at the end here, my camera is not turning out all the best on the computer. So you can just screw this off. Yeah, so they're super useful in sunny weather. And that was the main thing that I got them for, is because I was getting a bit of a lens flare when I was taking it out during sunny weather. And it was kind of screwing up the footage. So you go fly a drone for a while, which is yeah, which is already a bit of a chore. Not a chore, like it's fun and stuff, but having to be nervous about people getting pissed off at you for flying a drone around. So you already have that, and then you bring it home and you're like, oh my God, none of that footage came out. So then that's where I started getting these. So this one's a ND32. So this one's gonna have like, you can see that it has like a bit of a sunglasses kind of look to it. So you just grab that. So after you took off that one, so here's what you do. You just screw that on like so. So yeah, there you go. So then that comes off. Yeah, it's a little bit better. If you have any questions, yeah, more people are joining, so that's awesome. So if any of you have any questions, then make sure you put it in the comments, and yeah, and I'll try my best to answer them. So yeah, again, so then that's the filter that goes onto your drone, and that makes it so your sunny footage comes out a little bit better, and you don't get that glare. You can also get polarized too, which that's also something I have, and that will make the footage come out a little bit sharper, and the colors are a little bit bolder and nicer. So yeah, that's something I found with that. Yeah, and don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks for mentioning that. This is my first live video. I've never done one before, but I figured it's taken me a while to come out with actual videos for you guys, because it does take a while. Like I was saying earlier, that I have an Airbnb unit in the basement, and that's where I do all my filming. And it's been taken quite a bit lately, so I haven't had much of a chance. And when I do it, like there was 3 days there where it wasn't taken, and I tried to do the videos, but I had a bit of a cold still, so my voice was all raspy, and then I got it up to edit, and it just wasn't turning out all that good. So it was taking me a while to actually do the filming. So I figured I'd show you guys some of these things, because you kept having some questions. Some people kept having some questions on the Osmo Mobile, and yeah, just general questions like that. Do you guys have any questions at all? Because I think I've got most of my stuff finished here with what I've showed you. I think this live stream is going to be able to be seen down the line as well, because I'll stick it on my channel, and hopefully we have another video here. again, first live stream, so I don't really quite know how it works. Yeah. Do you need to know anything about lenses at all? Yeah, I feel like most of you will probably be people who found me through my Osmo Mobile 3 video with lenses, I suppose. Like if you do have any questions about DSLRs, then, so this one's an SL2. The the Osmo Mobile 3, so this one's the $129 unit. So what Okay, cool. So the filters for the drone were about $30 for four. But yeah, I'll put some links in Amazon for some Amazon links on where I got them from. So yeah, and then back to the $129 thing. So this is the Osmo Mobile 3, and this is the one that's $129 or 99 US dollars when I did that video, I think. So some of the adapters that I would recommend is if you're having any troubles with stabilizing it all, like maybe your phone's a little bit bigger or so forth, then I would also get this. These are little weights that go on it, so that will help make sure that your camera is a little bit more stabilized. So then you just screw them on. There's like a little area there. Awesome. How are you liking the Osmo Mobile 3? Yeah, you just screw it on, and then that will make it so it's a little bit. I don't know what all Landsy brands are. Sorry. So then, yeah, that will go on there, and then this. The main reason why I got this, my phone stabilizes just fine with it, but I got it for this GoPro attachment. So then, just stick it in like so, and there we have it. Awesome. And yeah, and then there we have a GoPro. So this is handy because my phone isn't a wide angle lens. It's just a normal phone camera. Like they're good. The phone cameras are awesome nowadays. Good quality and stuff. But I don't have a wide angle, and I really like the wide angle shots. So this is so yeah. So then this is handy for the wide angle shots. So this is the GoPro with a adapter. So this is the adapter for it. And then these little things are the weights to make it more stabilized. So I'm going to turn it on. Actually, one thing I'm going to do, so I did mention this earlier in the video, is that this little adapter for the GoPro was originally for the Osmo Mobile 2. And so the Osmo Mobile 2, it's like a bit of a tongue twister, I find. So it like fits on there really nicely because it's a little bit tighter of a grip. So like that's one thing that I kind of like about the number 2 better. But what sucks about this, so this thing was made for the Osmo Mobile 2, but when you're in wide angle, you capture the back of this. So then it kind of makes the GoPro kind of useless a little bit. But it did come in handy with the number 3. But one thing that I have to do is, because this is a little bit loose now, so as you can see, it kind of goes back and forth. So what I'm going to do is, the trick that I had, I'm going to get my DSLR out of the way. So the trick that I used was just good old-fashioned duct tape. I love duct tape. Back when I was a kid, I didn't have very much money, and I used to make like duct tape wallets and fix my shoes with duct tape and all that fun stuff. So it goes a long way. And when I first started doing like renovations, it became a bit of a lifesaver. I don't know if you guys ever seen the Red Green Show. It's a Canadian show, and the guy uses duct tape to do pretty much everything. It's pretty much his tool of the trade, as he just uses it to like, he can build houses and crap. I don't know how strong they are. So there we go. So now this duct tape will make it so this can hold a little bit better. So now there's not any slipping. It's going to be done. So I'll turn it on. And then there we go. So now we have a stabilizer for the GoPro without having to spend the GoPro sort of money for their, I think it's called the Karma. So yeah, but I'll show you what it does. Now, say I don't have this weight attached to it. Now this may be an issue that you're having if you're just using your cell phone as well when it's a awesome. I went to Vietnam and I loved it too. So great to see you here. So now if I don't have the weight attached to it, then I'll hit the thing to turn it on, and now it's like it's gonna have all this trouble. Yeah, it's just yeah, now it's shaking and stuff. So this may be an issue that you may have had with your phone if you do have a bigger one. So that's where the weights come in handy. And these weights, you can screw them off too. There's like 3 parts here. So yeah, you can screw it off like so. I just went straight to the heaviest one, and it seemed to work the best. And then you just screw it in there. And then that creates more stabilized footage. I guess it balances the weight a little bit better. So then that is great. And yeah, that's a bit of a trick with that one. And with the Osmo Mobile 3, you don't capture that when you do wide angle lens with the GoPro, you don't get the back of this in it. So that's pretty handy. Like I was finding that I only use my GoPro when I would go in the water or somewhere where I didn't want to bring a DSLR or my phone. And so this kind of makes it so I can actually use it for a lot of the actual footage now for like just going wherever, going on a hike or whatever. But your Osmo Mobile 3 isn't waterproof. So don't like bring this in the water and think you're going to have good stabilization down in the water or even the rain. Like I don't think we're supposed to use it too much in the rain. I have here and there, but I wouldn't do it. Yeah, so there we go. That is this now. So the GoPro. So again, now there's more of you. It started off with only 1 person in this video. It went up to 11 here and there. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions at all. Okay, so I actually have the Canon M50. So I don't have it in this room right now. So I'll be right back. And I will give you some tips on the Canon M50. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, so here we go. This is my other camera bag. So here is, I'll go through a bunch of this bag too then. So I also film courses now. So I'm actually making a course with my mom, and it's a course on how to start a catering business. So that should be fun. So here is the Canon M50. Now this, of course, looks bigger than what you normally would have. Okay, so this is the kit lens, and so I'll run through everything that I have set up right now and what I think about this. So here's the Canon M50. Really cute camera. It has an awesome kit lens on it. That's it's a 15 to 45 mil lens, so it's good for wide angle, good for getting a little bit closer up. Yeah, I've got Jesus, got 5 cameras. I can show you some other ones too if you want after. This is probably the one that I would recommend right now because it's actually a pretty good price, the M50. However, the only issue that you do have is, so with this, I don't know how much you guys know about like different different settings. So there's aperture, and then there's ISO, and there's frame rate and all that fun stuff. So this one, it's aperture does go down to 3.5. So that's a little it's not showing up all that clear on there. So it's a 3.5 aperture, and the lower your aperture is, the more light is going to come into your camera, which will make it so your ISO can go down. So you may have seen ISO before. So the higher your ISO is, the more pixelated your image is going to be. So this is really important when you're filming. Even in photography, it's a little bit important. So So I didn't like the kit lens too, like I love the kit lens, but I also already had, so originally I got this SL2 and I got a whole bunch of lenses in it thinking it was going to fix any issues I had. So then what I did, because I wanted a wider angle lens for real estate photography because it makes the place look bigger when you do that. So one thing you need to do is if you want to use lenses for another Canon camera that you already have, or other ones too. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that would be good then. If your room is well lit, then you should be all right. Uh, um, so this is a little attachment that you put on it. So let's see here. So here's the kit lens, of course. And then now I'm going to take it off. Now I'm going to put this little adapter on it. And then that makes it now so I can put on any lenses from the other Canon that I had. So I believe you can also get adapters that are for like Sony's too. So if you have a Sony, then you could probably have an adapter for that. Check it out first, because yeah, don't take my word on it because I don't have any Sony lenses. But if you already have some Sony lenses and you want the M50, then you might be able to actually use those Sony lenses with the M50. So now what this lens is this one's a little bit better. It has a lower aperture, so it'll create, so I can have a little bit lower of an ISO, which will create a more high definition video. Yeah, so there it's the M50. The one thing, so it does shoot in 4K. Now, one thing I am going to mention though is that it's not very good for this. It's not very good for autofocus when it comes to the 4K. So if you're filming yourself, like if you're doing a YouTube video and you want to film it in 4K, which I don't know, like I personally wouldn't want it in 4K because then it shows every single blemish that you have. So I like shooting in 1080 anyways. I thought I could shoot in 4K, yeah, with the autofocus. So with the 4K autofocus, it wasn't, my face was kind of getting out of focus like all the time. There's a Peter McKinnon video, which he reviews the M50, and you can actually see it happen quite a bit in that video. So then the 1080p or the 1080p setting, that one is actually really good for the autofocus. So I find that this autofocus is much better than the SL2. So this has a dual pixel autofocus, which makes it so it's really good. So that's definitely a benefit for that. So when you're going to use 4K is more so for like landscape shots. Yeah, it shoots 2K videos as well, but actually, let me double check here. So no, so it looks like it only shoots, so 4K at 23.98 frames per second. Then the full HD, which is 60 frames per second, and then also full HD at 30 frames, also full HD at 23 frames, and then normal HD, which is 720 at 60 frames per second. So no, it doesn't shoot the 2K, but it does shoot the 4K. So 4K is really handy when you're doing like landscape shots and you don't need one single image or one single person or object to be in focus. But if you are going to need it in focus, then you're going to need to be using 1080p. But that's still handy. It's a pretty cheap camera now. Not cheap, but it's a decent price. Like it's pretty comparable to what the SL2 was for price, but you get that option for the 4K footage. So that would have been really handy for my my video of Fraser Island that I did. I'll put a link there in the description below if you haven't seen it yet. It's really what kick-started my filming career. This is really like the filming and YouTube is really a hobby of mine. Like I'm doing renovations right now, but I enjoy the filming and yeah, so I started filming a couple of years ago, and so I guess like the M50, most of my newer videos are used with the M50. Like those are just more so just me talking videos. Like I haven't gone on a trip for a little while, so usually I do my like commercial sort of videos when I go on trips, and it's kind of a way that I get some of my trips paid for is by like pitching companies. Not really so much pitching companies actually. Like I go on a trip and then I'll go on a tour or something, and then I'll take a video of it. And I've got I showed it earlier, but so I've got my Ronin S, and then I hook up my DSLR to it. Everyone gives me like funny looks and stuff, and but it's all good, right? Um, so yeah, then I'll go around and I'll film it, and then I'll go back home once I get back home from the trip, and I'll do all the editing and stuff, and then I'll email the company and be like, hey, here's a video that I made for you guys. And then sometimes it turns out they'll get me to build their websites and pay for me to go on another trip back to them, and it adds some videos to my portfolio. So yeah, that's yeah, but I haven't done any with M50 yet. Looking forward to it. I actually live in a place that has some pretty good nature now, so I really should be taking it out with the Ronin, but just haven't had too much of a chance lately. It's been pretty busy with the renovations. Yeah, I moved into a house that is in pretty rough shape. It had like 11 dogs in here before, and so I've been slowly renovating it here and there. Like, I thought it would be a lot quicker. I thought I could finish it all in like 4 months, but now it's been like 7 months and still not quite there yet. But I'm making all my doors from scratch. This room really hasn't been touched. The walls been painted and stuff. But yeah, once you start seeing my new videos that I pop out with, hopefully that will be pretty soon. That will be in the new video that I'm making. The other videos that I did recently, they're in my basement suite, which is an Airbnb rental, and that was something that I renovated it all. So I'm making all the doors from scratch, the cabinetry, all that fun stuff. So that's all out of straight plywood, and yeah, it's been a fun learning experience. So a couple more questions just came in. Awesome. Again, if you guys do have questions, then please throw those in the question area below. And if you haven't liked the video yet, then please like it. I like seeing those. So let's see here. Just bought an Osmo Mobile 3, but record button not working. How do I troubleshoot it? So you want to make sure you are in the video. Yeah, like what kind of phone do you have? What are you using it with? Also move on to the next one too. Is there any recommended free filming or editing courses? So okay, I'll post some. So this video is going to go on my channel, I believe. This is my first live video I've ever done. So I am going to. I'll put some links in the description below that will show you some videos that I've watched that have been really good. I did take a course by Parker Welbeck, and yeah, so his course was really good. He has a good webinar that you can check out. So the webinar will give you some good information, and I've got a link to that in the description below. I think I don't know if you can see that yet, but yeah, I will put a link in the description if it's not there yet. And then that webinar goes through 10 different cinematographic moves that you can make. He shows his ninja walk and all that stuff. So it's a pretty good webinar to watch. Actually, it's free. It's about an hour. The first like 20 minutes, he talks about his experience, and then he goes on to talking about the different moves you can make on how to make your footage look good. And that really comes in handy when you are using the Osmo Mobile 3. Or the number 2, or just any gimbal at all. Yeah, I found them really handy moves. So let's see here. So the Note, I don't have a Note, and I have heard of some Android issues with the Mimo app with this. So my recommendation, if you're having trouble with the Mimo app with your Note, then make sure you okay, cool. So okay, so make sure you have the updated app, because they are doing updates every once in a while, because they have noticed that there are some issues that people are having with Androids. So DJI is updating their app quite frequently. So make sure you check that out and update your app if it hasn't been updated. Make sure that you are in video mode if it's the record button's not working. If it's just this button here, you may actually need to contact DJI and make sure that like if everything else is working, then it might be an issue with your actual DJI Osmo. So yeah, check out that thing. So check out if your app is updated. Make sure that you have it in video mode. Make sure Bluetooth is connected. If your other buttons are working, then it's clearly connected. And yeah, for the meantime, you may just need to touch it on the app. And if it's still not working on the app, the record button, you may need to use the native phone app. And then you can still do the record and stuff in there until you get your new device. So yeah, contact DJI if that's not working. All right, so other one. So next question, are you still in the house that you filmed in the video that you said that you're back to YouTube? Yeah, so um, yeah, totally. So I'm still in that same house. I've been doing a lot of renovations on it, and I thought that I'd get more time to do videos. But yeah, that's why. So this thing's gonna be like, I'm gonna try to make it so these live videos are a weekly thing, so that I can answer any questions you guys have about whatever. Yeah, so I'm in the same house, but I'm doing a lot of renovations, so it's really taking a lot of my time. I also have other businesses too. Like I have a web development business, which also does filmmaking and commercials and that sort of stuff and photography. I have a blog where I review courses that I take online. So that one's usually in my descriptions of the videos. That one's called Educational Grader, and so I take courses, and then yeah, and then I add to my skill set, and then I post my reviews on there, only if they're good, of course. I haven't really liked most of the Udemy courses I've taken. There's a couple that are good, like one Instagram one that was pretty good. I also, for a while there last year, I was pretty into Instagram for a couple months, and that's just kind of to build my own personal brand, I suppose, and just trying to figure out ways that I can make money through traveling. And I know Instagram's a pretty good way of that. So I worked on that for a couple months, a few months, and then got to 10,000 followers. Now it's gone down because I don't really do too much on there anymore. Uh, yeah, and then renovations, it's just something that I've always kind of enjoyed, building things and seeing a finished outcome. It's pretty cool. Like even painting, right? You paint a wall and you're like, holy crap, that the room looks so much nicer now, and it only took a couple hours. Like I'm building cabinetry and doors and stuff like that now, so that's pretty fun, and it's cool seeing the result. But it takes a little while longer than just painting a wall. Yeah, and then what other businesses do I have? Oh, I'm also a travel agent because I like traveling, and I figured that it's also a way that I can get some commission back for some of the trips that I go on. So really, I try to monetize everything I do. Like I was saying earlier, like I used to duct tape for everything when I was younger because I was pretty poor. So then over time, like I moved to Australia, ran out of money, and then ended up living in a car for a little while, and then I started doing farm work, and then that's really when I started learning how to do everything myself because didn't have the money to spend getting a pro to do it. So I started cutting my own hair back then, and then I think like as an adult, I've only paid to get my hair cut once because just got used to cutting my own hair. I wear a hat a lot, so people don't really see the crappy butcher job that I've done on my hair, but that's just something that I kept doing. And then I bought a house and it needed a lot of renovations, but all the quotes were pretty high for the contractors. So I ended up just learning how to do all my own stuff, drywalling and flooring, and yeah, putting together just like prefabricated cabinets. And then now I'm doing I'm doing work on a house I live at. So yeah, so then because I'm here and living here, I'm like, well, I might as well just learn how to make my own cabinets so I don't have to buy these Home Depot um, cabinets that I get. And I've also found those fabricated cabinets don't really stand up to very much time. They kind of break down. So if I build my own, then hopefully they'll be a little bit better. Let's see here. Again, if you guys have any questions, then yeah, please put them in the please put your questions in the little question area. Let's see here. Have I missed any questions? Bluetooth connected. Uh, oh yeah, yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, make sure if you are having the issues with the record button, then just make sure you do check the Bluetooth. Um, Thank you for mentioning that my videos are informative. That's awesome. If you do have any questions at all, then make sure you put it here. You can also ask on any of the videos, and I'll try to make a video down the line. But as you may have seen, it does take me a while to pop out videos. So yeah, and I will be doing this live streaming every week. Been going on for 45 minutes now, and yeah, it's been great seeing lots of you here and getting all these questions. I like that. Do you guys have any other questions for me? This is a video that you can always come back to and check out again. Hopefully, I haven't done this live thing before. This is my first live video. So hopefully it'll show up on my channel and you can go back and see some of the things that I've talked about in this one. In this video, I covered the M50 for a little bit, talked about my experience with the cameras. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'll grab some of my other cameras too. You guys asked about how many cameras I had. So I will show you some of those. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, this isn't it. I still have more. All right, my desk is getting pretty full now. So here we go. This is the Osmo Pocket. So this isn't a DSLR. This is just another little stabilizer sort of things. This one's really cute. Look how little it is. So this has a little, I haven't used this in ages. Honestly, it was okay. I didn't like it that much. It has a pretty good aperture, so the footage does come out pretty good. It can work in pretty decently low light situations. No, honestly, I wouldn't suggest buying it. Like, I ended up getting all these attachments for it, so I didn't like how the lens really wasn't wide angle. So I got this little, like, it's so little, everything's so little, like it kind of cramps my fingers using it. So I got this for it, and it's just a magnet, and it sticks on. So then that makes it more wide angle. It doesn't usually come with this little toggle thing here, but what I found was, I don't think it has any battery on it. Again, I haven't used this in ages. Yeah, no, it has no battery. So I found that like moving things around on here and seeing this little tiny display was just too little. So I ended up getting this little dial thing that you can move it side to side and up and down. So it makes it a little bit easier to control. Then I also got this Bluetooth connection. So then you can put that on and do time lapses with your Mimo app. I don't like the Mimo app all that much. Yeah, if you guys want to see some videos that I'll try to do some videos with this if you guys are curious. But again, I probably wouldn't recommend this. I recommend the Osmo Mobile 3 if you have a decent phone, the most probably out of everything I have here. If you're just like doing beginner sort of stuff, if you're trying to go like full time, just like doing filmmaking and making money off it, then going with like an actual DSLR camera is a good idea, because it's nice to be able to have some control over the lenses that you have and the different yeah. Yeah. So I've been going for a while at this now. So my brain's not working quite as well anymore. So yeah, then I have this. Oh, I hope it. Yeah, it has a bit of okay, so this is cool. So this was one of my first cameras that I got, and I was thinking, oh, this would be great for doing vlogs and doing everything, because it has a great telephoto lens. It has a 4K. It advertises 4K footage. The filming wise, I do have a review. It's one of my first videos, I think, on here. So I have a review of this camera. And over the time, I've learned how to use it a little bit more. So let's check out how crazy big this, yeah. So now that's what the lens goes to. So it gets super close. Like, it was really good for photography. So if you're just like a photographer, then I do think that this is pretty cool. This Lumix FZ80, I believe it's called. I don't use it like anymore at all because I have the others, but sometimes I'll go places like where I am now. We get seals in the harbor and sea lions and stuff. And so I went to this place that had a bunch of sea lions, and my camera just couldn't get close enough. So that was, yeah, that was too bad. I should have brought this because I could have gotten some good shots with it. Your hands have to be super stable though. So like if you have that lens out all the way and then you shake a little bit, then yeah, your image isn't going to pop out all that good. I actually do have a, so I also do, not so much anymore, but when I got this, I started doing stock photography. And so then that's something that also makes money each month. So that was a way to monetize my walks. So when I go out for a walk in nature, because it's good to be in nature for health and stuff, and I found I didn't really do it too much. So I got this camera mainly for that. So I could like, yeah, so I could like nature a little bit more and really pay close attention. So then I started doing stock photography, and I'll put a link to my Shutterstock site on there. Some of the ones, especially birds, that's going to be taken with this Panasonic. Next up, this is like an old school camera we had. This is actually my girlfriend's camera, and this was the first one that we started filming with. It's a Canon G15, so it's pretty old. And yeah, that was the first camera that I had that we started playing with. But neither this one or the Panasonic do have mic inputs, so couldn't really do that. So yeah, now, oh, and this is another one. So then this is a 360 camera. So this has a camera on each side, and it will take like a picture of the whole room and stuff. And you can do 360 shots on this for Google. So that was something I did for a while, was 360 shots with Google Local. All right, so what questions do you have on the drone? If you could put that down below. I have the Tello as well as the Mavic Air. Yeah, and then is it any good? So with the Pocket, no, I probably wouldn't recommend it. So okay, so yes, there is a way that you can use two different cameras. For video calls. I don't know, because it's really, if you're going to be shooting with two different cameras, you're going to have to edit that video in post-production. So that's going to be done through, I use Premiere Pro with all that. And what you can do with that is you can grab the footage. I'm not going to do I don't even know if there is a way for me to do a screencast. Yeah, darn. I wanted to do a screencast on something like this down the line, but it doesn't look like I can. Um, so yeah, I might have to do some videos on how to do that. So if you're doing two different shots, what you can do is you're gonna want to make sure they're both recording audio, and then in Premiere you can just okay, so one on screencast. Yeah, screencast is what I'm trying to figure out how to do. I wasn't gonna do it on this one because my desktop really isn't set up for that yet. Okay, cool. So yeah, when you do that in Premiere Pro, you can sync audios. So then you can have, so my video that I have with the Osmo Mobile 3, what I did was I put the two different shots in the timeline for Premiere, and then I just, you highlight them both and then press synchronize audio, and then it will synchronize the audio, so then your mouth will align perfectly in both the shots. So you can have two different cameras going, and then it looks like, yeah, and then you can choose whichever audio you want to use. So my actual way, so I've been doing, a lot of the reason why I haven't been doing too many videos on YouTube lately is, well, number one, my area that I do the filming in, it has been booked for Airbnb. But then number two, I've been working on an online course. I mentioned that briefly earlier. So now one of the things that I do, okay, so with the audio, so I have a couple different audios going at one time on her. So that's my mom. She's doing an online catering course, so I'm doing that with her right now. And so I want to make it so she doesn't have to, so we don't have to keep filming over again. So I've usually got I've got the Rode Video Mic Pro, and so I've got this hooked up over on a mic stand. And this usually does a really good job with recording the volume anyways. But so I don't lose everything, I also just connect this into my other iPhone that I've got, my older version. And then this is a lav mic, and this goes here. So then I just record this in like the recording setting. And then when I go to post production, I can sync the audio. So the audio will look fine. You won't get like a screwed up synchronizing where, like, sometimes you'll watch a movie and the mouth won't line up, or a TV show. Like I had that on Netflix the other day. my daughter was watching a kids show, and the mouse just weren't lining up. It was crazy, ridiculous to be on Netflix and not have mouse line up. So yeah, that's syncing audio and having different camera angles. So mine used to shake from portrait to landscape. My balance was off. So I don't know if you caught me talking about it a little bit earlier. I've got a lot of stuff here on the desk now. So one thing that I recommend is if your phone does shake, then I suggest grabbing these weights. So I'll put a link in the description whenever I get this video up. I'm assuming it must go up. I don't really know. I've never done the live videos before. I hope it does. So these are little weights that you can screw on the end of your Osmo Mobile 3. I don't think the number 2 has a setup. Nobody's going to be using the Osmo Mobile 2 anymore since this one's better. Yeah, the Osmo Mobile 2 doesn't have it, but the number 3 does. So then you can do that. And I've got my my GoPro here. So this is just an example on like my my iPhone 10. It works fine, like it stabilizes just fine, but the GoPro doesn't. So let's switch this around. And so I'll connect this onto here. And so that works completely fine. And this is like super super heavy on this side. So yeah, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off and unscrew these, and you're going to see the difference. So now, like, these weight things are awesome. I just actually got them the other day. So what I had there, I didn't know that these weights existed. And so I had this duct tape. So the duct tape, the reason for that is because this grip doesn't hold the this GoPro attachment. This is made for the number 2. So I had to put some duct tape around, and now it grips it. And so what I had was I had some rocks just stuck into this duct tape, and that was helping balance it, but it wasn't doing the best. But then I found these weights, and now it's awesome. So this is what's going to happen when I don't have the weights. So now, like, as you see, it's having a hell of a time trying to get up, and yeah, and that's never going to work. But the weights, they fix that, and now I can use the GoPro with the Osmo, which is awesome. Cool. Yeah, so do you guys have any questions at all? I'm probably going to end this up pretty soon now. I'm getting close to an hour. There's 6 of you left. We got up to, I think, 12 or 13 there for a little while, so that's pretty cool. First live stream here on yeah, on the YouTube. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you got some good information. And again, hopefully you can see this video down the line and go back to different parts of this video. All right, so I guess I might say bye now then. Any questions? I'll give you like 10 more seconds. And thank you. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, first live performance. I think I did one like briefly for yeah, like 2 years ago when I first, or about a year and a half ago when I first started like trying to play around with YouTube. And I did like a brief one there, and I just couldn't really figure out anything. So this is my first one actually being on it for more than like 10 seconds. Cool. Yeah, it was great having you here. Thanks. Coming from Vietnam. That's awesome. Where are you guys from anyway? So we've got one person from Vietnam, and I'm Canadian. I'm living in Canada right now. So filming in low light. Let me see here. Do I have? I have a little light for that. Oh wow, Libya too. Cool. From all over the world then. Oh, I don't have any idea where I have it. So there's this cool little thing that you can put on your UK. Geez, that's awesome. So So there's a thing called an aperture light you can stick on the top. What are you using for your low light? Yeah. So when you're filming in low light, are you going to be using the Osmo Mobile 3 or are you using a DSLR? Yeah. So uh, okay, Osmo Mobile 3. So okay, so one thing you can do. Oh no, I don't know if I have. Okay, so I've got trinkets all over the place. Oh, I do have the light. So one thing you can do is you can grab this thing. This is really cool. I might like blind you guys. I don't know. Um, so here's the light. It's super powerful. And this is something that Peter McKinnon talks about. I like Peter McKinnon. I don't know if you guys have ever seen him. So then what I do is I've got this little attachment that hooks onto. No, this isn't the attachment. What am I talking about? This is the attachment. So this little attachment goes on to your Osmo Mobile, and you just screw it on the bottom here. Now you swing it around, and you put your little light on here. And then oh, I don't have the weights hooked up on here. Sorry, so that's not gonna stabilize at all. So yeah, check out how bright that is. Like you can turn it down, uh, so it's less blinding. So yeah, then that will help you with your low light situation when it comes to using your Osmo Mobile. Now, when it comes to drone footage, like I'm not like I'm not a really big time drone professional by any means. I've only flown it a little bit, um, just kind of when I go on trips, and the laws are pretty strict when it comes to drone flying now. So I've got my course and stuff that I bought a course to get my drone license, but I still haven't done it yet just because I haven't found the time. I'm doing quite a few different things right now. So yeah, when it comes to low light, I think the only thing you can really do is make sure you go for a drone that has a. Do you already have a drone? Um, yeah, do you already have a drone, or are you looking at getting a drone? So when you get a drone, you're going to want to make sure that it has a low aperture. So if you can get like a 2.8 aperture, then that's good. I don't know about flying around in the dark, but if it's like a little bit later on in the evening and stuff, then okay, yeah, you have the Mavic Air. So I mentioned filters a little while earlier, and that's handy for like the when it's sunny and stuff. But you wouldn't want to have a filter on when it's a little bit later on and the light's low. So yeah, I'm not too sure what you can do about getting better footage with the Mavic Air when it's dark out. The only thing you can really do is increase your ISO a little bit, which kind of sucks because it will come out a little bit more pixelated, and your 4K footage really won't turn out too incredible. Yeah, if you're doing 1080p, then it might be all right. So I don't think the filters can improve your low light. Maybe the polarized filter might be able to do a little bit, but I'm not too sure. I'll do some research on it, and if I hear anything or see anything, then I will put it in the comments below. I'll also see if I can try out anything too. I got to figure out what the new drone rules are because they are constantly changing. So again, make sure you know your drone rules first. For contacting me and asking if you have any other questions, yeah, without waiting for the live streams, then you can comment in any of my videos, and I'll do my best to answer fast. Yeah, if it's just something I can type, then I'll do my best to answer with typing. If it's something I have to do a video for, then videos do take a little while. But I will be doing these live streams hopefully every week on Saturdays because it's a good time for me. I wake up fairly early, so Saturdays are a good day. Weekdays are pretty hard for me, but I can always try to get a weekday in. Yeah, so there we have it. Can you put a link to that light? Yeah, so I'll put a link to the light once I'm done this video. I got it off Amazon, and I think it was like $50, $60. Can't really remember too much on what the price was exactly, but it was okay. Like it's worth it for sure because it gives you a lot of light without having to need a whole huge light setup. Um, Also, this is another thing you can use too. Like if you're going to be filming in a room, and so this is called the Happy Light, I think it's called. So I got it because I'm in Canada and we don't really get that much sun throughout the winter months. So this is handy to have when I sit in front of the computer for a few minutes, like half an hour or whatever in the morning. I try to do like half an hour in front of the computer to get things organized before I start my day. So this is super bright and it's a white light, so it's not the warm, like you can probably tell from this, I've got the yellow glow on me or orangey on it. So this is the actual nice light that will give it that more of a daylight sort of tone to it. Yeah, and then that thing I think was $60, $70, and that's handy if you need a light like that. If you're in one of those areas that doesn't get too much sun, so you might want that for health purposes, and then it also acts as your lighting for your cameras as well. But yeah, if that's like mainly if you're in your house doing some shooting, if you're going to be doing like shots in a taxi cab or like when you're vlogging or whatever, then that other light is pretty awesome. This aperture light. Where should it go? Yeah, this thing, this crazy bright one. So yeah, and there we go. There's that. Do you guys have any more questions? Yeah, there's 7 of you now, so that's awesome. There's still a few of you here. So any more questions until next week? Next week I'll try to do I don't know, I can do more of the same and go through if you guys have curiosities on how to monetize anything too. Like I really pride myself in being able to monetize uh, ways of monetize things that I do. Like any hobby that I have, I try to figure out a way to make money out of it. And yeah, and try to save money in some way or another. Again, I went from living in a car to owning a house about a year later. So so I like monetizing things. All right, cool. So it doesn't look like there's too many more questions. I'll give you guys like a few more. All right, cool. So next week I'll be doing another one. If you guys have any questions, then throw it in comments below any of my videos. And or if you want to wait till next weekend, then I will be here. Thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, it was nice seeing you guys. It was almost an hour and 10 minutes. So that's awesome. All right, take care and yeah, have a good day whichever part of the world you guys are on. Seems like you're from all over the place. All right, take care. Bye.